It feels like a trap you can't escape, doesn't it? You let yourself get hopeful, see a glimpse of something better, and then, you're right back where you started. What if I told you that the feeling of being let down isn't just bad luck, but a cycle you have more power over than you think? While that initial sting of disappointment is a real, automatic brain reaction, what happens next, that's up to you. Think about it. The job you were so sure you were going to get. The relationship you poured your soul into. That personal goal you could almost taste. In every case, what actually happened fell short of the picture you had in your head. That gap between your expectation and reality. That's where the gut-wrenching pain of disappointment lives. And when it happens over and over, something inside starts to shut down. This is where things get tricky. After enough letdowns, your brain, specifically a little region called the habenula, basically becomes a disappointment detector. It learns that trying hard can lead to pain, so to protect you, it starts pumping the brakes. Why get your hopes up just to have them crushed? Why invest so much, only to end up with nothing? You start expecting things to go wrong just to soften the blow. The cost of living this way is huge. You stop taking chances. Hope itself starts to feel dangerous. And if it goes unchecked, that constant disappointment can sour into resentment and bitterness. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where the fear of being let down guarantees you never reach for anything that could truly make you happy. But what if the problem isn't that the world is against you? What if the key isn't to control the world, but to change your response to it? The ancient Stoics were onto this, and funnily enough, so are many modern therapists. They all agree, it's not events that break us, but the judgments we attach to them. Here's the mistake we all make: believing our disappointment is an automatic, unavoidable result of failure. It's not. Disappointment is impossible without one key ingredient: a rigid expectation. The pain doesn't come from not getting the job. It comes from the story you tell yourself about what that means, a story built on a script you wrote in your head about how things had to go. When reality doesn't follow your script, you feel betrayed. But that gut reaction isn't the whole story. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best: it is not the thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. That judgment is your choice. The power isn't in preventing setbacks, but in mastering your inner response. So how do we actually do that? We start by swapping our rigid demands for something far more resilient. If this is starting to click for you and you want more tools to build this kind of mental resilience, go ahead and subscribe. We break down practical ideas like this every week to help you reclaim your peace of mind. This first shift is a game changer, drawn from both Stoicism and modern approaches like rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT. It's about learning the difference between a healthy preference and an unhealthy demand. An unhealthy demand sounds like this: I must get this promotion, or they have to text me back. The words must, have to, and need to put you in a fragile state where anything but the perfect outcome feels like a catastrophe. A healthy preference sounds like this: I would really like to get that promotion, and I'll work hard for it. But if I don't, I can handle it and figure out what's next. See the difference? You're not lowering your standards. You're just removing the command that sets you up for a brutal fall. So, when a setback happens, pause and ask, was I treating a preference like a law of the universe? That question creates a little space, and in that space, you find your power to choose your response. The next choice is to be ruthless about focusing only on what's in your control. You control your effort, your attitude, and how you prepare. You do not control the final outcome, the economy, or what other people think. Disappointment is the friction created when we pin our self-worth on the parts we don't control. To fight this, the Stoics used a tool called the reserve clause. They framed their goals by adding, if nothing prevents it. This isn't being negative, it's being a realist. It says, I'm going to give this my absolute all, and I'll accept the outcome, because the outcome itself is outside of my control. Another tool is what they called premeditatio malorum, or thinking about what could go wrong. But be careful here. Research shows that just dwelling on negative outcomes can actually make you feel worse. The key isn't to wallow, but to plan. Ask, what are the likely obstacles, and how will I handle them if they pop up? By mentally rehearsing your response to challenges, you strip them of their power to shock you. If they happen, you're ready. If they don't, you're pleasantly surprised. The final choice is to completely change your relationship with failure. We're programmed to see a setback as a dead end. The Stoics saw it differently. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is a powerful reframe. When you're disappointed, you get to choose. You can let it crush you, or you can ask, what does this now make possible? The job you didn't get, is this a chance to develop new skills? The person who let you down, is this a lesson in setting better boundaries? This shift, sometimes called an iterative mindset, today, turns failure from a verdict into data. It's not a source of pain, but a source of fuel. Every letdown becomes a training ground for resilience, patience, or humility. You start measuring success not by what you get, but by how well you respond. That's how you build real mental toughness. Look, the sting of being let down is real. You can't just wish it away, and your brain is wired to feel it. But letting that feeling hijack your life, that's a choice. Disappointment isn't what happens to you, it's the story you tell yourself about it. You have the power to rewrite that story. By trading rigid demands for flexible preferences. By focusing on your effort, not the outcome. And by seeing every obstacle as an opportunity to get stronger. You won't stop feeling the sting of failure, but it will no longer paralyze you. It will become a signal. A reminder to pause, learn, and choose a more resilient path. Disappointment stops being a judgment on your worth and becomes a compass for your growth.